Hello everyone. In continuation to my yesterday's topic of the placement of the ascendant lord in various houses, I'm going to talk about the second lord in different houses of a horoscope. So the second house is basically a very neutral house because the energies of the second sign, second house lord depends upon the energies of its other sign. For example, if you have got Capricorn sign falling in your second house, it means the Aquarius sign will fall in your third house. So the third house, the sixth house, and the 11th house, these are the Trishtaya houses. These are functionally malefic houses. So it means that the energies of the second house lord during its dasha would be tough for you, would be difficult for you. Now, at the same time, if your ascendant is a Capricorn and the second house will then have Aquarius as the sign falling here. Now, here the dasha of the second lord would be very beneficial for you because here the second lord is Saturn and it is also the ascendant lord. And the ascendant dasha is always very powerful for any given native. So, this is how we can connect the results of the second house during its dasha. Now, what to expect when it is placed? The second lord is placed in various houses. Yeah, before talking about that, also I would like to tell you that the sign of Cancer and Leo, that is the moon and sun, they are the only two planets that have only one sign each. So when moon, that is Cancer or Leo, is falling in your second house, then we have to see the results of the second house dasha in this case by studying their placement in the horoscope. So if your moon or sun are placed in the kendras, that is the quadrants, or in the trines, then the dasha will be very good for you, fruitful for you. But if the second lord, they are sitting like sun or moon, they are sitting in the dusthanas, that is your sixth house or eighth house or 12th house or even third house, then the dasha could be tough for you. It could be troublesome for you because the results are felt as per the placement of sun and moon in this case. But we are now going to be concerned about the placement of the second lord in different houses. Now, what is the second house all about? The second house is about your wealth, it is your family. After the native is born, the most important thing that is belonging to him is his family. So it is also the house of his attachments, the things with which the native is very attached to. The second house is also about the values that you acquire from your family. It is also your early schooling. This is the house of your eating habits, your speech, and also addictions can be seen through the second house. Now, the second lord being so important here, and also it is the lord which is also called as the Marka, Marak lord. So, if a person is very old in his 90s or 80s, then at that time, if the second lord dasha is coming, second house dasha is coming, then it can also be very difficult period for that native. It can even cause the demise of that native. But if the person is not very old and the person is young, during that time, if the second lord is coming in the dasha, then that period could be bothersome for the native. It can cause some health concerns. Any planet that is sitting in the second house is also going to cause us some health difficulties because the second house is a Marak house. So, any planet that is falling in the second house or even in the seventh house during its dasha would be tough for us with respect to our health. Now, what happens when the second lord is sitting in the first house? The first house is you, and the second house is the wealth that you have. So, it means that you will be the source of your wealth. So, you are the person who will have self earned wealth. Next thing is about his family. So, the family will have dependence on this native. The second lord is now sitting 12 places away from itself. So it means that you could be staying away from your family of birth, or If the second lord is debilitated in the first house, then it can also mean that you may not have cordial relations with your family. But if the second lord is sitting in its own sign or in some form of exaltation in the first house, then you will have good relation, good understanding with your family. Now, if the second lord is sitting in the second house itself, it means that you belong to a very rich family. Your family could be having lot of wealth, but that doesn't mean that you will be enjoying that wealth. It means that you are having that wealth through your family. It also means that your family values are very high. You could be fond of eating, you'll eat well, you'll get good food to eat in life, and you will be a very effective speaker. You could also be a singer if moon is present here or even Venus is present here. You could have a beautiful family, a beautiful face, and this placement of the second lord can also be a cause of more than one spouse or more than one marriage. But if the second lord is a malefic planet, or if the second lord is afflicted by a malefic, then the probability of having more than one spouse becomes very high. If the second lord is now sitting in the third house, it means that you are one of those people who do not like to spend money, but they are very fond of saving their money, or I would say increasing their money by investing it further. So you are always looking at the avenues to reinvest your money so as to grow your money, because it is now third house is second to second. It is the second of your second house. So it means it is always a projection of your second house. It will always increase the wealth of the second house if the second lord makes any connection with the third house. Now, second house being the house of your speech, and the third house is the house of your efforts. These people would always try to put in their efforts through their speech. They are not very manually hardworking people, but they can be very hardworking in terms of their speaking abilities, and they can be very good with sales. These are those people who could earn their wealth through speaking or through communicating or through traveling or through their younger siblings. So now the placement of the second lord in the fourth house. The fourth house is your house of comforts. It is the motherland, it is your property, it is your mother, and it is also your high school studies. So the second lord being the lord of your wealth shows that you may study in a very, very big school, and you may study a lot, and you may have gains coming through your mother, through your homeland, through your property, or you may have lot of mass following, because the fourth house is also about masses. It can also mean that you may have gains coming through your properties, or you may have lots of properties, or you could be born in a very royal family. Now, the second lord sitting in the fifth house is not considered very good when it concerns the happiness of children. But the second lord sitting in the fifth house is kind of forming a Dhan Yoga, Lakshmi Yoga. So these people will have lot of wealth. They will earn lot of wealth by the grace of God. And sometimes this placement can be very good for getting wealth or gains through your children. The second house in the fifth house also shows that you can have wealth coming through royal favors, through higher authorities, because the fifth house is the house of power. The fifth house is also the house of entertainment. So you could gain a lot of wealth by producing movies, by directing movies. through entertainment industry you could have lots of wealth coming, or you could have lots of wealth coming through speculation or through speculative gains, or you could also earn wealth in the form of your relationships. I mean to say that you may have lots of relationships, because the fifth house is also about love, romance. Now, the fifth house falling in the sixth house is not a very good position, because from your ascendant it is your sixth house, but the second lord is sitting in the trine to itself. If you count from the second to the sixth, it is 5 places away. So it means the fifth lord is sitting in trine to itself, which is a good thing. So it means that the money flow will happen by the grace of God. So you will not have any dearth of money. You can attain money through your family. But the problem is that the sixth house is the house of difficulty, debts, and diseases. So it means that the moment you give your money to somebody, it will not come back. The money lent will never come back. And there is also a fear of getting your money lost by theft or litigation. But the probability will go down if it is exalted here. If the second lord is exalted here, then you will definitely earn lot of wealth through your family. But if the second lord is afflicted here, then there is a huge probability that the money that you acquire from your family will get lost. So be very careful about lending money to people if you have this combination, because the money is not going to come back. But now the sixth house is the house of social service, it's the house of defense, it's the house of war zone. Like you could be a lawyer, and it shows that you could earn money by healing others, by treating others, or by helping people in need. So this can also mean that you could be one of those who are lending their money as a part of their work. So you could be financial lenders here also. Now, the second lord in the seventh house. The seventh house is 6 places away from the second. So it means that the lord of the second house is sitting in Trig Bhava to itself. So it means that the family life could have some disturbance. It can also imply that you may marry within your family circle, or your spouse would bring you lots of dowry after your marriage, or it can also be a indication, because the second house is the house of your attachments. So it means that you may be attached with the other's spouse. So it shows that you could be of a questionable character. And if the second lord is a malefic sitting in the seventh house, or if the second lord is afflicted by a malefic in the seventh house, then there is a huge probability that your spouse could also cheat on you, could also be a person of questionable character. So these combinations are written in Brihad Prashar Hora Shastra, and I have applied this in couple of charts while I was doing readings for my clients, and this came out to be true. Now, the second lord sitting in the seventh house. This placement is not good for the happiness of your family, because the second house is about your family, and now it is sitting in your Trik house. But from the Trik, it is still aspecting the second. So it means that you could be in a condition where the family is still intact, but there is no happiness of the family life. Like you could be a pilot who is placed somewhere else, or you could be a high profile businessman who is always traveling, and your spouse could also be working and maybe placed somewhere else. So the child may feel neglected, or you may not feel the warmth of a happy cordial family life with this placement of the second lord. The second house is about your wealth. Now, the wealth could come through lots of transitions. So it means the wealth will never be stable. it would always be up and down. So sometimes you will feel that the wealth is good enough, but there would be times when you will feel that my wealth is now not that great. So you will never feel balanced where the wealth is concerned. It can also mean that you can attain your wealth through insurances, through insurance money, or through inheritance money, or by managing other people's wealth, because 8th house is also about income tax. Now, I forgot to tell you, the source of wealth by the placement of the second house in the 7th house could be through businesses. You may want to invest your money in your businesses, invest your wealth in the businesses, and that could be the source of your wealth, or in building business contracts. So you could earn money by making contracts for others, writing contracts for others. Now, if the second lord is sitting in the 9th house, 9th house is your trine house. So it's a beautiful dhan yoga. So these people are rich. They are going to make lots of money. For example, if you have got Pisces ascendant, then the second lord is Mars, and your 9th lord is also of Mars, that is Scorpio. So here it will give you very good results. If the second lord is somewhere getting exalted in the 9th house, then also it will increase your wealth like anything. But from the second house, the 9th house is the 8th. So it means that in your early childhood days, because second house is your early childhood also. So in your early childhood days, you must have had some health problems. This placement can also mean that your wealth could come through your father also, because 9th house is your father and second house is your wealth. So you may have wealth benefits coming through your father, but you will also be very dharmic person, or I would say a religious person who is very righteous and who makes sure that my righteousness is always respected by others. You may want to study a lot. With this placement, these people attain lots of knowledge of higher wisdom, or whether they want to go in for higher studies, they will be able to do that. Now, the second lord sitting in your 10th house. The 10th house is all about your status, about the royal things. It means you will always attain favors from the royal society. You will build your wealth through your status, and your family could be very well placed and well known. You could be very well connected. And this position, as per Brihad Prashar Hora Shastra, I have not tested this, but you can let me know in the comments, can deny you of a child. But of course, I feel that Jupiter's position is also important, and the fifth lord's position is also important. But if the second lord is sitting in the 10th house, can deny you of child's happiness. This is what is written in Brihad Prashar Hora Shastra. And these people could be very sexually motivated always. Now, the second lord sitting in the 11th house is again a kind of Dhan Yoga, Lakshmi Yoga. So you are going to be very rich, and you are one of those people who would try to earn their wealth by putting it in FTs or in mutual funds, because your wealth is becoming your income. So 11th house is your income and gains, and second house is your wealth. So your wealth becomes your income. So it means that you are growing your wealth further to attain your income. So you must have heard about lots of people who invest their wealth in banks, and thereby they keep getting a regular source of income through the interest. This is the combination that they may be having. Second lord in the 12th house means that you can earn through foreign lands, through authorship, because the second house is the 11th house is all about your imaginative faculties. So you could earn money by counseling others, or by being a doctor, by being a jailer through marine industry, or from foreign lands. But the problem is that if you are living in your own country and if your second lord is in the 12th house, it means that you will find it very hard to sustain wealth. So that will be your shortcoming. So for those people, I have a suggestion that you can open up your account in some foreign bank. These days, lots of foreign banks are there in India. So in your countries also, you will be having some foreign banks. So put your money in a foreign bank, and that will help you save your expenses. Also, the second lord sitting in the 12th house can deny you of your family's happiness, or it can mean that your family must have moved to a foreign land. So, friends, this was all about the placement of the second lord in various houses. Stay connected, and I'm going to see you very soon with my next reading on the third lord's placement. Also, before closing, I want to tell you all that I have made a new channel that is in Hindi language, because lots of my dear viewers have been telling me that I should make videos in Hindi also. So whatever videos I'm making in English, I would be making simultaneously in Hindi also. So I will be posting the link of my Hindi channel in the description box. So those people who like to listen to me in Hindi, they can click that link, and they can be straight away taken to that link, and they can even subscribe to that Hindi channel. So friends, thank you all for being here, and always stay connected. Be blessed.